Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Raw. I'm Bryon, and I'm once again joined by someone who is in the Royal Rumble waiting room. Mike, say hi, Mike.
Yes, I am in the waiting room. I'm currently being attended to by two Saudi Arabian men with sandwich baskets for hats. Oh, I can't say that. That's
Oh,
sorry. We're within we're within the 8 minutes. Within the
you
8 minutes.
bastard!
Oh
Now we got to
shit.
do this all over again.
No. Yeah, just leave it in. Just leave it in though.
No,
Just leave it in 'cause it's funny.
all
Yes.
right, fair enough.
Um.
Did the
I
prince send you those
I
bags, or?
yes. Yeah, he did. Yes. I'm really I really am confused about Raw. I don't know why. Maybe because like SmackDown is. Do you feel that SmackDown is more consistent than Raw right now?
Ah, oh boy, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like sometimes SmackDown I will say that SmackDown is consistently inconsistent, if you get what I'm saying. Like Road Dogg sometimes has this like strange booking decisions that just persist week to week. And I guess I'd rather have that than, because I do I'm not sure if you agree with me, but I think Raw has been kind of boring the past few weeks. I understand that they're focusing a lot more on the women's tag team division and fine whatever. But that's at the expense of the tag team division over there, which is almost non-existent. And then you have Stephanie Vaquer seemingly injured, I guess. Like she is kind of feuding with Raquel, and that's kind of it, I guess. And
I
then the
mean, it
rest is
sucks for them
just
because
yeah,
they've had a lot of injuries on that roster on this. So, like you think about it, right? So Seth Rollins was their women's champion or their women's champion. Then at that point it was who was their women's champion before Vaquer? It was
Liv. Was it Liv?
was it Liv? No, no, it was Liv and then someone else and then Vaquer. No. It was Liv, and then I think Liv got injured, and then there was that tournament that they had, and then Vaquer won the tournament.
Yeah, right.
Right. So like they had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins got hurt. They had Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got hurt. And then they had to switch to okay, sorry. They had to switch to for the women they had to switch to Vaquer. For the men they had to switch to fuck, who was it? It was CM Punk, right? CM Punk got it. CM Punk didn't get it before anyone else, right? It was CM Punk that got it right after Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they switched to CM Punk, and then CM Punk is the champion. They had an IC title, where now Dominic is injured. So they've just gotten really unlucky with injuries, and I think that's really kind of derailed a lot of the storylines they were going to have, which is making it very boring. Um, so whereas SmackDown, I think, has been more entertaining because they haven't had to like do shit like, oh, we're gonna pull the plug in the Vision like 4 months early because Seth Rollins is injured. It's like they can develop coherent storylines. I saw a comment on a post about Raw saying that the most entertaining storyline right now is Adam Pearce versus Braun Breaker. I was like, honestly, that's probably true.
Yeah, yeah. I can't really think of anything else that's like as enticing, I guess, or as interesting as Braun Breaker. Although I think that Braun Breaker and the whole thing with Adam Pearce kind of smacks of, maybe it reminds me of Goldberg, I guess, or maybe like some kind of anti-authority feud. Not Stone Cold, definitely not Stone Cold. I don't think he's at the level of Stone Cold yet. But I think they're framing Braun Breaker as a sort of, he's a badass. He doesn't take any. Okay, we're not at 8 minutes yet, but you know what I mean. And he's anti-authority, right? They're trying to make Braun Breaker look cool. He's already cool before any of that, but I think they're trying to make Braun Breaker seem cool amidst the defeat to CM Punk, which to me kind of makes it they're trying to kind of overcomplicate their own situation almost. Because if Braun Breaker kind of won the title and went all, anti-authority and like F you, I'm not gonna let Punk challenge for my title ever again. Sure, it would play out the same way as Drew McIntyre holding the title right now, but at least it would kind of make sense. Kind of, I guess. More sense than if he didn't, but I don't know. I guess they're trying to copy the storyline with Punk being corporate champion again, I guess. I don't know. But it's not only just Royal Rumble they're building up to. I think it's the Saturday Night's main event they're also building up as well. And Raw seems more directionless. Well, that's not true. They do have some things where they have direction on, but none of it seems really enticing when it comes to viewing, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure Mike can agree as well. But regardless, we will try to book. We will try to book these shows, as always, and we will predict what WWE thinks they will do on this next episode, this time emanating from Belfast, Ireland. And we will try to see if we can get into the mind of Triple H and maybe see if we get some things right, I suppose, on this here show. So, if you are largely unaware about the show, we basically told you what it is already. We basically book and predict the show based on these rules, and then we basically score our predictions and bookings after watching the actual next episode of Monday Night Raw, and then we go back here and tell you what we got, and then we book the next one all over again. So there you go. Points. I actually had a really good week last week. I had 13 points, which is a lot of points, more so than I would like to admit. I think the majority of it came down to the main event. I actually got all 4 men in the main event correct, as well as the outcome. So that's a lot of points right there. And then the rest is just appearances from a bunch of people. We got Roxanne, Bailey, Liv, Lyra, Becky, Maxxine. CM Punk's promo was also, a point. And we had Javon Gunther winning. Javon and Gunther winning their respective matches. Penta and Dragon Lee, as I said before, versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And the outcome, yeah, a lot of points for me. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I got 6.5 points. Really, it was just from mainly the main event where I got 2 out of the 4 guys right. And then getting promos from CM Punk. I had Javon Evans winning his fight, and getting appearances from Rio as well on the show. So I'm feeling more confident about this week, though, because I think it's a more coherent episode, honestly, now that they've established some storylines. Now, hopefully no one gets injured again.
Yeah. I don't want them getting into a monkey paw situation where, be careful what you wish for. But yeah, let's hope no one else gets injured. I think WrestleMania season is definitely going to be a lot more interesting considering the injuries. But we could also have a WrestleMania 32, the Dallas one. Yeah? I'm just trying to see which WrestleMania was right. I think it was 32. We could have a WrestleMania 32 situation on our hands where we get Shane versus fucking Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match because they had no other people to fill in a match because they're all injured. So yeah. No. I don't want it to go that way, but hopefully it doesn't go that way. So there you go. What is announced for your next show? We got CM Punk taking on Finn Balor. Because why not? For the World Heavyweight Championship. We also have a rematch between Becky Lynch and Maxxine Dupri for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So without further ado, let's book this thing. Get to my version of the show first. As the Vision open up the show, Paul Heyman and the guys walk to the ring. Paul Heyman talks about what happened in last week in their match against Dragon Lee and Penta. He says that revenge is on Logan and Theory's mind, and that revenge may come at the Rumble or Saturday Night's main event. However, he is more heartbroken that Bron has not received a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship and is taking on Finn Balor. But instead, Bron Breakker suspended because of his actions last week against Adam Pearce. Paul says it doesn't matter if he is suspended or not because Bron will come back at some point in the future. Whether Adam Pearce likes it or not, he will get the championship that Bron Breakker deserves. As a result, he is announcing that Bron Breakker will be an entrant in the 2026 Royal Rumble. And he says that Bron Breakker will enter the Rumble and he will win the Royal Rumble. And he will get back at Punk and get the championship that he needs, he deserves. And yeah, just kick Punk's ass, I suppose. They're then attacked by Dragon Lee, Penta, and Rey Mysterio. However, the Vision come out on top as they are coordinated with their hatred for Adam Pearce, I suppose. As the segment comes to a close, this might turn into another match between, as I said earlier, Dragon Lee, Penta, and Logan Paul and Theory at Saturday Night's main event. But yeah, I do think it's not over yet, and I think Bron entering the Rumble to get the title from Punk is kind of a necessity at this point. And if Punk is not going to give it to Bron with regards to the rematch, then so be it. Time for the Rumble. Time for Bron to get the win and get the title off of Punk at Mania. So yeah. Moving on, Rhea Ripley takes on Roxanne Perez. This is to build up the Rhea Io versus Judgment Day match at Saturday Night's main event. I'm going to have Rhea Ripley win by pinfall here. After the match, the Judgment Day tried to beat Rhea up, but is saved by Io Sky. Io versus Liv is set up for the episode after this on the Go Home show for Saturday Night's main event. But Rhea and Io win the war overall, and they get to keep their tag team titles. And Lash Legend and Nia Jax are going to be next for the SmackDown side, but I will talk more about that when we go into SmackDown. So there you go. Moving on, Javon Evans takes on El Grande Americano. I don't think this feud between Javon Evans and the Americanos, I guess, is what they're called, is over yet. So we're going to have this match. I will have El Grande Americano win by pinfall with the help of Los Americanos. After the match, they try to beat up Javon again, but Javon escapes them with his stellar acrobatic moves. I think that if the Rumble is to come, Javon Evans might become a crowd favorite. They might give him the Kofi Kingston spot where he tries to get back into the ring using an impossible stunt, I guess. Like, they'll probably have him do a handstand or maybe, leapfrog to the ring from the fences. I guess what they're called, the barricade. So yeah, I do think this feud is not yet over. I think they're going to continue it. And I will have Javon win this feud, to help him go into another mid-card feud or get into the Intercontinental Championship picture once Dom comes back from injury. And we move on to AJ Styles having a promo. AJ Styles walks to the ring. He talks about his match against Gunther from last week. He says that the loss against Gunther gave him time to think about what he has done so far. And I'm going to say that AJ does not know how he lost and maybe not show the video until the time is right. But he says that, he thinks he might not have it anymore to continue doing it. And we're going to have him hint at the fact that he may be retiring or considering retiring from wrestling altogether because of that loss. He is then interrupted by Gunther, who laughs at him and says that he tapped him out like a little bee, and says that he joins in a long line of old, broken people who got retired by Gunther. AJ continues to call him an a-hole, but Gunther continues to laugh in his face. AJ tries to fight him, but Gunther counters with a hold. AJ tries to get out of the hold and does so successfully, and he leaves. I think this is not over yet between AJ and Gunther. Now, if they're considering the AJ retirement tour, I do still think that a rematch between them is possible, but maybe have that be the final match for AJ. Him trying to conquer that hold against Gunther while Gunther is occupied with other things. I think, I think their paths are going to cross again, but I think that it's not yet over, but I would rather have it be a final match and sort of the looming question for AJ as he heads into what is perhaps his final year in the company. Can he still go at it? Can he still go in the ring? Or will he tap out to the future of the company? So I think that is probably what his match is, or what his retirement tour is going to look like. Probably the John Cena retirement tour, but better, hopefully. Better booked, I mean. Better booked. But we shall see. We shall see. Jey Uso takes on Otis next. This is to build up their feud for maybe Saturday Night's main event, maybe the Rumble, where the Usos take on Alpha Academy. I'm going to have Otis win by pinfall. Yes, I'm going to have Otis win so that, Alpha Academy at least has some wins in this rivalry and not have it be one-sided. I will have Jimmy Uso versus Akira Tozawa scheduled for the episode after this. And Jimmy wins that one due to 50-50 booking because Tozawa is apparently not good, according to the company. So he can take a loss. And then we'll have the match itself for the Tag Team Championships at Saturday Night's main event, where the Usos win. And they get to keep it overall. But yeah, that is what I will have there. Next, Becky Lynch takes on Maxxine Dupri for the Intercontinental Championship for the women. I think Becky wins. I know this is in Becky's kind of hometown, but I think Becky gets the home advantage and she wins. After the match, she beats up Maxxine Dupri. However, this might be a gamble, but I'll take it. She is saved by Natalya. Natalya beats up Becky Lynch, setting up their match at the Rumble for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. But I think Becky wins that match. Essentially, the story is going to be the sort of trainer taking the honor of the trainee and trying to uphold that. And she's fighting for her trainee, basically, while the trainee is sort of beat up badly by Becky Lynch. And unfortunately, Becky Lynch wins that one. Because, I don't know, I guess I don't like Natalya or the Hearts at all. So, there you go. And I will have Becky retain overall because of that. So, there you go. Main event. As CM Punk takes on Finn Balor. Now, I know people may consider the possibility of one of them winning. Maybe less so on Finn Balor winning, actually. But I will have it end in a DQ because of interference from Division, basically saying, you messed up with Bron Breakker, now we're going to mess up your plans, Adam. So they're going to mess up this match. And Division beat up Punk. They're intercepted by Penta, Ray, and Dragon Lee. And they are chased out of the ring, leaving Finn alone. The Judgment Day then come out to... This is another wild gamble, by the way. But I'll have the Judgment Day come out to check on Finn. And they seem to be okay about Finn losing. However, I'll have Liv Morgan slap Finn Balor to end the show. Yes, this is, again, another seed planted in the Judgment Day breakup story, I guess. Or even the storyline of the members of the Judgment Day seemingly having some friction. So that's what I'll have there. However, this is a bit of a side note, but if AJ Styles is to have a retirement tour, I think him and Finn Balor should have a match because of their history. I understand that they want to focus on the future of the company, and that should be the story. But Finn Balor should be one of the first feuds against AJ Styles in his retirement tour, just because of their history, going up against the past, and then move on to the future, I think. And yeah, I think that, you know, Punk will probably retain. I think Bron is. Sorry. What am I saying? I think that Punk will, retain the title because of the DQ, and he will eventually get the title removed from him at WrestleMania by the returning Braun Breaker. He will enter the Rumble. He will win it, I think. I know I said someone else earlier, but I don't think so. I think Braun will enter the Rumble and try to get it from Punk and succeed. And yeah, that's what I think will happen there. And Finn Balor can go back to the Judgment Day where they argue endlessly about what happened and why they didn't get the titles that they deserve. And the cycle continues ad infinitum, and they don't break up. So there you go. Questions?
Okay. So do you think Finn goes on a singles run as Demon Finn again?
I think they moved on from. I think they moved on from the demon. Honestly, it's pretty much for me. I think that they're kind of trying to move on past the old NXT stuff. Even though they do mention old NXT accolades, I don't think they will bring back everything from NXT, the old NXT, I mean, to this one, and that includes Demon Finn Balor. So I don't think Demon Finn Balor comes back. Honestly, I think Finn Balor is trying to move on from the Demon Finn Balor, even though he does recognize that they used it pretty badly. And, he probably was proud of that part of his character. So I don't think that they'll bring it back. And I just think that Finn Balor would be better suited for a retirement run with AJ in a match. And as for the singles run, I mean, there's still the tag team stuff with JD. I think he's more suitable there on the tag team division because the tag team division in this show is so, oh man, so bad. So they need more tag teams basically. So there you go. I think that he would be better suited there than a singles run. If they do want to try a singles run, maybe have him go for. Oh god, Dom has the Intercontinental Championship, so probably not. But if someone else were to hold it, I think he would be a great fit there. I don't think at this point that he would be the man for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he'll be better suited in the mid card. So, big answer is no. Better suited for tag team division. If they were trying to give him a singles run, probably mid card, Intercontinental, or U.S. Championship, whichever one, whatever.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know if AJ Styles comes out and sort of admits that it's kudos for him. I think this turns into a more heated feud because he thought that he won last week because Gunther did technically submit. So
Yeah, he
but
did
anyway, yeah.
technically submit, but I don't know. Maybe not bring that bring that clip. I guess because Gunther won. He's probably gonna be like, the people don't know, blah blah blah, or whatever. He's probably gonna try to hide that win, or what truly happened, until the time is right. So, any other questions before we move into your card?
Nope, I am ready for my card.
All right, let's move on then to your card. Starting off with
We have a Judgment Day promo. So Judgment Day come out with Liv Morgan, all the peeps, including Dominic, who is apparently injured at this point. And they talk about how, Liv Morgan and Roxanne are number one contenders for the tag team titles. And Finn Balor has a title fight tonight against CM Punk. Say his name and he appears. CM Punk comes out to the stage to talk some shit. He basically just roasts the entire crew. And that is how this promo starts.
All right. So you're gonna have Punk move on to Judgment Day? That's definitely interesting.
No, I mean it's just him versus Finn tonight. So
Oh, right. So essentially you're gonna have it start with the rah-rah speech where they're like, "Yeah, Finn, go take on Punk. You can do it." Is that what basically the promo will be? I guess. Just a rah-rah speech, motivation for Finn.
Basically, like, Judgment Day getting behind each other, and then CM Punk comes out and basically says Dom is pussy whipped. Roxanne is nothing without Raquel. Dom basically. To be honest with you, as a man, I wouldn't mind being pussy whipped by Liv Morgan. You've seen her; she's objectively one of the most attractive people on the roster. But anyway, Gooner moment out of the way. That's what this promo is. Okay, God. It's just CM Punk going off. That's what he does. He's good at a promo. Got to get him out there. We're done. Moving on to the rest of the card.
Jesus. Okay, well, I didn't expect that.
This is the only episode that's going to get demonetized so far.
Road Dogg, is that you? Are you here? Anyway, we'll move on then too.
Becky Lynch versus Maxxine Dupri, a rematch. I think Becky wins this one. I think she is saved. I think she tries to post attack Maxxine, like you said, but she is saved by a returning AJ Lee. I know I've said this for weeks now, and then it seems like I say it for weeks, and then I stop saying it, and then like the week after I stop saying it, it happens. So I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. And I think that this starts their feud for the Rumble, probably. I know I've said this exact same fucking thing for like literal weeks now, but I'm just going to keep saying it until it happens. I'll be right eventually.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big show in Belfast. Becky Lynch obviously wins this one. I think Maxxine needs to probably go down to the lower card and do a little bit more work. She still is. She's got moves, but she still definitely needs a little bit more seasoning. A little bit more time in the oven. In my opinion.
Yeah. Natalya should spend more time in the dungeon with her. Okay, not like that. You know what I mean? That's what they call it, right? The Hart family dungeon. That's why I said that. All right. Don't twist it. All right. Don't get it twisted. Anyway. All right. So, do you think that if this were to happen, Becky versus AJ Lee is going to happen at WrestleMania? Is that your WrestleMania feud for Becky?
Yeah, I think so. Like they brought AJ Lee back. They have to feud her with Becky Lynch. It's a big name feud. So I think it goes into WrestleMania. Yeah.
Okay. Would you have Becky win in this case against AJ?
No, I think AJ wins.
Oh, all right, interesting. And then I don't know who would be your first, I guess, challenger for AJ.
Maybe Maxxine Dupri again. I don't know. That the American-made woman, what's her name? One that I keep saying is going to be in the championship window, but really isn't. Ivy Nile.
Yeah, I guess they forgot about that too. But
yeah, so any of them.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. We'll move on then to
Javon Evans versus Bronson Reed. So this is because during the end of the show last week, when the Vision took out Penta and Dragon Lee, Javon Evans came to the back to check on them. So I think Javon Evans picks a fight with Bronson Reed here and gets fucking annihilated, unfortunately. He's had a good run so far, and I think, even though he's new, I think he's gotten to the point where he had 2 squash matches against the Americanos, and he loses this match, puts up a good fight, but he gets fucking destroyed thanks to interference from El Grande Americano, and that will set up their feud for probably the go-home show for the Rumble, but not the go-home show for the Rumble. My bad. Because this is the go-home show for the Rumble, right? Or is that next week?
No, Okay, so Saturday's main event is on Saturday. And then after that is the Rumble.
I thought it was the other way around. My bad. I thought it was the Rumble and then Saturday. Okay. So this probably sets up a match either for Saturday night's main event or for the go home show next week. So
yeah. Yay, content. Okay, so would you have, I guess, is an alliance in your case being struck up between the Americanos and Division, or is this just for Javon?
I think Javon joins the general face team, and maybe joins the alliance against Division. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. We'll move on then to
a Gunther promo. Gunther comes out. People start yelling, "You tapped out," which is technically correct. He did tap out last week at him. He comes out and says that he beat AJ Styles. He was smarter than him, better than him. And he heard AJ Styles is retiring this year, so therefore he is going to be another person that Gunther retires. And he is interrupted by said AJ Styles, who comes out with Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, seeing the footage, says, "Well, Gunther, technically you did tap out, but the referee didn't see it. So we're going to do a rematch." And this rematch is going to happen not at Saturday night's main event, but at the Royal Rumble. It is going to be a no DQ win by pinfall only match between Gunther and AJ Styles.
Whoa. Okay. And would you say Gunther wins in that match, or?
Yeah, I think Gunther finds another way to win somehow. Maybe he does the Becky Lynch thing where she uses the ropes as leverage or something. I think he's leaning more into that like crafty heel vibe, almost like an Eddie Guerrero, but at like a more egalitarian level, where Eddie was more of like this like slimy heel who got out of situations. I think Gunther tries to find like creative ways to win matches against his opponents. So.
That makes sense, yeah. Do you have any expectations at all for the AJ Styles retirement thing? I like any opponents you want to see against AJ, or?
I think it's only going to be a few months. I think he probably goes back into TNA for a spell, probably. Maybe maybe he goes back to TNA for a spell, has a little bit of a storyline there, maybe for like a month against someone. I think his last match probably goes up maybe against Javon Evans, maybe against Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. I think Javon Evans would be a good last match, because Javon Evans sort of has that AJ Styles skill set where he's sort of like a high flyer, but not really a high flyer, just kind of like a guy, like a mid-sized guy who also can do top rope stuff. So I think that'd be a good last match between them two. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they're both from. Oh wait, no. AJ Styles is from Georgia. Never mind.
Yeah, he's from Georgia. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely would like to see a match between Javon Evans and AJ Styles. Like, that would be a pretty good match for sure. All right, we'll move on then to.
Oops, sorry, my mic broke. I had to plug it back in. Anyway, it is the tag team titles match. The Usos versus the Alpha Academy. The Alpha Academy asked for the smoke last week, and I think they get the smoke from the Usos this week, and the Usos win via pinfall. Now, I know that you typically do the one person versus one person thing. But I think that only works in a case where it is a big money match, where if it's like a pay-per-view or a Saturday night's main event match, you want to build up to it. I think that's where it works. I don't think this is how it's going to build up because it's the Alpha Academy and not like, the War Raiders or something or the Judgment Day. So I think the Usos win here, and I don't know what they do with the Alpha Academy, honestly. So.
All right, so I picked one person against another because I feel like. All right, first of all, this tag team division sucks ass, and I feel like the only way it would get better is if you highlight at least the members of the tag team, give them some personality, give them like coverage, expose them to the audience, right? And that's what I'm trying to do with the one-on-ones to build up this sort of feud instead of just going full in on the tag team championship knowing that the Usos win. At least if you put one person of the tag team against the other and then another one-on-one the week after, at least the audience can kind of see more of the challengers and be like, you know, they might be capable instead of throwing them in this situation against the Usos and being like, what the hell? Who are these people? I guess the Usos win because they eat. I like eat, so there you go. That's why I had that. That's the rationale behind the one-on-one thing. But
Okay.
that's how the tag team division is now. It's so bad.
That is true. Yes. Yeah. They definitely need a shake up, or they need to sort of call the talent a little bit and make a make a unified titles again at some point, because I don't think that each brand has the weight to carry. I mean, SmackDown definitely did, but if Gargano was sorry, if not Gargano, but Ciampa is leaving. And then you have the Wyatt Six and the MFT still feuding. You have Motor City Machine Guns doing nothing. You have who else? The New Day, not the New Day. Who else was on that SmackDown? So it was DIY, Wyatt Six, MFTs, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium also doing nothing as well. So I think at this point, it would make sense if you say drop one of the tag teams, so whether it's Alpha Academy or War Raiders or something, and then go for a unification of the two belts. So because I think Raw doesn't have a great Raw doesn't have a great tag team roster, and SmackDown has sort of lacked tag team talent. As much as people like to praise the Wyatt Six, I don't think they've done anything really too much. And I think that this probably leads to, at some point, maybe at Mania, a tag team unification match between the Raw and SmackDown brands.
Could be nice, yeah. Or I think like another mid-card tag team feud would also be nice. Take some pages out of Vince Russo. Oh God. Maybe have a zombie tag team go up against a tag team who are like clowns. You call them the Brothers of Construction, and you just hand them the tag titles, and have the zombies go on backstage promos where they abduct Big Vito for some reason.
You laugh, but the zombies are actually good in the ring, man.
That's true.
They can back it up. They can back it up, bro.
That's true. I like how they sometimes they're slow zombies. Like they're like you hit them and they get stun locked or whatever, and then they move. Sometimes they move like quick, fast, and that shows how varied like the interpretation of the zombies is.
They got high ping. That's why they're lagging.
They're lagging. No, but I like how say what you want about Vince Russo, but I think his current his current run in JCW as a writer and his focus on the tag team division is, I think, a really good thing. And I think that if he focused a lot, well, not a lot, but if he continues doing that and just showcase the wonderful tag team division that JCW has, then that could be their bread and butter, and moving on to, later this year and next year and beyond. So I think that's a good thing. And the fact that major promotions like WWE, to a lesser extent AEW, aren't really focusing as much on the tag teams. It just sucks because I think there are a lot of people who love tag team wrestling, and it's not getting highlighted a lot by major promotions. It just sucks. But anyway, that's the parable done on this, I guess. But so, who do you think will be next? I know that the tag team division on Raw is not good. Would you have a tag team call up from NXT, or I know you mentioned like, the SmackDown and tag SmackDown and Raw kind of tag team face off thing. What do you think is more
Yeah,
suitable?
yeah, I do think that maybe they get another Raw to maybe the Judgment Day if Finn ends up staying in the Judgment Day, because you know how the Judgment Day are, Brian, is that one week they look like they're going to fall apart, and then everybody's back together playing PS5 again in the back room. So I don't know. I think maybe they have one more feud before WrestleMania going into the Rumble. I really don't know who they go into the Rumble against, because like you really don't have any big money talent to put them against. Now, thankfully, this is still a 1 day Rumble. I would say if you have a 2 day Rumble, you are struggling to fill that card right now.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know who they take into WrestleMania. I think honestly, they probably carry these titles. I think what happens is they get maybe like another team like the War Raiders, or whatever their fucking tag team is on Raw right now. Creed Brothers, maybe. Um, and they beat all of them, and they say, "Oh, we got one on to SmackDown because no one on Raw can beat us," and then that ends up setting up the stage for the tag team unification title match at WrestleMania.
All right. That would actually make sense. I would be on board with that, honestly. But I don't know if they would be prone to do that, considering they're focused on the women's tag team divisions. So there you go, I suppose. Anyway, we'll move on then to the main event, which is
Main event is CM Punk versus Finn Balor. So CM Punk wins this one via pinfall. Finn Balor gets an advantage late in the match thanks to the Judgment Day trying to interfere with Liv Morgan and Roxanne, but Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out to fight them off, and then CM Punk is able to retain the title. And we assume this will lead to the breakup of the Judgment Day, but it probably won't, because we know how this group operates. So
maybe that's the power of the PS5. It keeps people together, even even
I know
in terrible times.
Liv bought the PS5 for them, and then now
Yeah.
she's upset that they're playing with it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, man. Maybe they're trying to say something, but all right. So, do you think that Braun wins the Rumble, or are you still hanging on Sammy? I guess because I think you said
um,
Sammy wins the Rumble because of the Saudi Arabia connection, but
yeah, I forget. I didn't watch the rest of SmackDown. Who won against between Ilja and Sammy? Was it Sammy?
yeah, yeah, it
It was
was Sammy.
Sammy. Okay, yeah, I think Sammy wins the Rumble still. I think I'm still hanging my hat on that because of Saudi Arabia. So
All right, fair enough, fair enough. So that moves on to Elimination Chamber then. Do you think Braun gets into it, wins it, and takes on Punk at WrestleMania, or would you shop for another opponent for Punk at Mania?
No, I think the plan is still Braun takes it at WrestleMania. I think that's been the plan. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I guess that's about it. And as I said earlier in the show, we will watch the next episode of this when it comes out. Next episode of Monday Night Raw. And we will score predictions and bookings based on what we booked here today on this show. So, until then, thank you for ordering a pepperoni pizza called probably next week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos.